A young man named Emmanuel built a well in his garden, and the land began to grow every day more fertile, because he tended to it daily and watered it often. The neighbors in the town grew envious of his good fortune, and one day an old man named Jacob poisoned the well. Jacob's wife was friends with Emmanuel, and the young man gave her water from his well. Jacob's wife used the water to cook food for her husband, and he got terribly ill. Emmanuel also drank from the water, but because he was young and had a strong immune system, and because he also boiled the water before drinking it, he did not get sick. One day Jacob thought to destroy his neighbor's garden. When he went fishing he brought back 10 buckets of sea water, because he did not have enough salt to sprinkle about. He sprayed his neighbor's lawn with the sea water, hoping the salt would make his land barren. Instead, it rained that night and most of the salt was washed off. Because of this, and because of the ocean water's nutrients, the vegetables grew bigger than ever and the fruit trees bent from the weight of their fruit. Jacob grew furious and devised another plan. He burned Emmanuel's sugar crops one day. When Emmanuel went to harvest the sugar canes, he found it easier to harvest once the canes' leaves were burned. There were fewer pests and gnats, and the canes were already rid of their excess leaves and tops. The following harvest the sugar cane grew even taller than before because of the amount of ash left on the soil. Jacob grew even angrier and decided he would invite Emmanuel to his home and poison him. His wife swapped the dishes to give Jacob the bigger one, which she did not know contained poison. Jacob soon began having difficulty breathing and then started choking. Emmanuel drove Jacob to the hospital and he improved quickly. When Jacob was out of the hospital he consulted an oracle to divine his future. The fortune teller told Jacob his neighbor Emmanuel would always gain more than him because his land was more fertile and better suited for farming. This news infuriated Jacob further. He decided to corral and brand Emmanuel's cows, which were unbranded. The first cow he tried to brand kicked him in the chest and he fell to the ground gasping for air. Emmanuel came quickly and helped him to his feet. Finally, he quit trying to harm his neighbor. He decided to move away and sell his farm. He sold the farm at a bargain to Emmanuel. Later that year, Emmanuel tried to cultivate the land but did not get any harvest. Jacob's land was extremely acidic, because he had tended goats there, and that land was not conducive towards growing fruit trees and vegetables. Instead, he found that blueberries, cranberries, and daffodils fared much better in this acidic soil. When Jacob heard of his neighbor's good fortune, he realized he had been a fool. He tilled the land with the sweat of his brow and it only gave forth thistles and briars and very few vegetables and fruit. He thought he was cursed or that he had bad luck. Rather, he finally admitted that his neighbor had more knowledge than him and that he asked for advice from others who knew more than him, making him a wiser person. Jacob came back one day to make amends. He told his neighbor that he had tried to poison him and destroy his garden and was envious of his wealth. "I thought you had life so easy," he said. "But in reality, you worked hard and were creative at solving problems. The more I tried to take from you and harm you, the more misfortune I encountered. I merely reaped what I sowed injustice and I was overcome with disaster. Instead of looking for solutions to my problems, I blamed you for them." And Emmanuel said, "Today I have gained a friend who was estranged from me." His word says, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Forgiveness and gratitude is a weapon against envy and despair. Because of the loving devotion of the Lord we are not consumed, for his mercies never fail. They are new every morning, great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul, therefore I will hope in him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. For the Lord will not cast us off forever. Even if he causes grief, he will show compassion according to his abundant loving devotion. For he does not willingly afflict or grieve the sons of men. And Jacob bought back his land from Emmanuel, and now he had plants, trees, bushes, and vines he had not planted, and now his land gave plenty of fruit.